Well, hello again. Now, I know we've been doing this particular one, well, live pretty much, but when I tried to record last, it completely deleted the recording, so I'll read you what the update is. And then we'll go from there. Where are you? Honestly, sometimes they just forget things, I guess. Oh well. Or I just didn't make it clear. There it is. The silence in the room. Oh, there's silence in the room for a bit as Aizawa and Deku try to process the weight of what they just learned. It was a heavy moment, a weight of Lily's actions and the loss, the grief, and the brutal responsibility of saving reality from demonic chaos. Finally, Aizawa speaks again. I need a drink and coffee. A long drink and coffee. Deku sighs. For some reason, he feels tired. A nap sounds more appealing right now, he mutters. Everything is a lot. I could help you with that, Equality says as she reaches out a hand, the other wrapped around her brother, who seemed to have fallen asleep. Equality extends her glowing hand towards Aizawa, her palm emitting a soft, warm light. Palm. It's not fire or magic. It's something calmer, like a gentle aura meant to soothe stress and fatigue. Aizawa eyed it skeptically for half a second. Trust issues with divine beings. But the exhaustion wins. He nods slightly, leaning forward, letting the light wash over him. Almost instantly, his shoulders relaxed, and the tension from hours absorbing apocalyptic backstories melts away. Deku watches in awe as Equality effortlessly eases their teacher's burden without words. Without words. A small comfort in an overwhelming situation. And you, Sensei Deku? Deku blinks. Sensei. Equality is calling him teacher, too, despite him being younger than Aizawa. It's weirdly sweet, and also kind of embarrassing. Aizawa, now half dozing from the soothing light, gives Deku a lazy thumbs up, encouraging him to take the offer. Hesitantly, Deku scoots closer, the warm glow feeling like sunlight after a rain. Not aggressive healing or power, just pure relaxation, like sinking into a weighted blanket on a stressful day. Thanks, he mutters, as his eyelids close heavy too. Oh, his eyelids grow heavy too. God, it's hard to read. Shade sighs, then finally walks over to sit between Deku and Aizawa, her darkness replaced with more motherly aura as she wraps her arms around them, allowing them to rest their heads on her. The shift in Shade's energy is instant. Her usual dark and protective aura softens into something maternal. It's not cold or distant. It feels like a fortress of warmth. The kind of like being tucked under a blanket by someone who truly cares. Aizawa, already half asleep from Equality's light, instinctively leans into her side, resting his head against her shoulder without overthinking it. The man is exhausted, and this level of comfort? Unheard for him. Deku melts too, nuzzling slightly into the embrace like a kid who just got cuddled by an affectionate parent figure. He doesn't even question it how safe he is suddenly feeling. For once, they are not dealing with the apocalyptic or cosmic wars, just quiet rest. The room settles into a peaceful hush. The only sounds are primary soft breathing on Equality's lap and the occasional rustle of fabric as Shade adjusts her hold. In the quiet hum of the raditional energy from their power, now calm rather than volatile. Aizawa is out, deep asleep for once, not even his usual light nap. His face is relaxed in a way Deku rarely sees. Deku isn't far behind, lulled by Shade's embrace and Equality's gentle glow. He drifts off too, curled slightly like a content cat. For these two overworked heroes, this might be the first real rest they had had in weeks. Poor thing, I tend to forget how delicate humans can be sometimes, Equality says softly as she lowers her hand. Equality's voice is barely above a whisper, filled with quiet tenderness. She watches the two sleeping men, Deku so young and earnest, Aizawa usually so composed, both vulnerable in their slumber. Shade hums in agreement, her arms still secured around them. It's true, humans are fragile compared to primordial beings or guardians like them. Their lifespan are short, their bodies tired and easily under stress. Aizawa has dark circles under his eyes from years of hero work and teaching. Deku, he pushes himself too hard trying to be perfect. For a moment, Equality feels protective of them, not as allies fighting battles beside her family, but as creatures who deserve rest more than they realize. God, it's making me sound like freaking an unemotional being. I didn't realize that until now. The next morning they awake to find Equality and Primary cooking something in the kitchen, and Shade is right where she was when they had fallen asleep. The sunlight filters through the windows, casting a warm glow over the apartment. The scent become of something savory. Katsukudon? I cannot pronounce that. Drifts from the kitchen. Katsudan. That's the name. Making Deku's stomach growl before he's even fully awake. Aizawa stirs full. Blinking groggily, it takes him a second to remember where he is, and why Shade is still sitting beside him like a shadow, guardian who refused to move all night. Deku wakes next, with a soft stretch, only to freeze when he sees Primary cheerfully flipping food in a pan while Equality calmly seasons it beside him. The domesticality of it, they're cooking breakfast for them after everything last night. Good morning, you two. Primary greets cheerfully in a cheerful, deep voice. Coffee is ready for you if you want some, and food should be ready in a few minutes. Deku's face lights up at the sight of the sound of Primary, his deep voice surprisingly cheerful for a kid. The coffee? Blessed. Aizawa, still half asleep, perks up immediately at the mention of it. They shuffle towards the kitchen where the counter is already set with 2 steaming mugs, black for Aizawa, probably milk and / creamer added to Deku's. Aromas filled the air, crispy katsudon breading, savory sauce, and something sweet, maybe dessert too. Aizawa grabs his coffee first. Without a word, that man runs on caffeine. Meanwhile, Deku gapes at how efficiently they are cooking. Primary is tiny, but clearly skilled. Here's how to prove another skill of mine, I guess. You do realize he's only a year younger than me, Equality says after reading his thoughts. As I advise you not to call him tiny. Deku chokes on air. 1 year younger? He assumed Primary was a kid, maybe 12 or 13 at most, given his small stature, and how Secondary, his cousin, is a child. But if Equality is only 1 year older, that means Primary is actually an adult. Aizawa side-eyes Deku over his coffee cup, slightly judging him for the tiny thought. Embarrassed, Deku rubs the back of his neck. Sorry, I just thought you were both compact? You're so both... Not helping, Shade might strangle him in darkness for this one. If he keeps this up. Also a reminder, Secondary is his son. Deku's coffee mug clutters onto the counter. Secondary is his son? That meant Primary isn't just an adult, he's a father, a dad of a tiny cheerful kid who was cooking for them was actually Secondary's parent. Aizawa nearly spits out his drink too, though he hides it better. He stares at Primary with fresh eyes, the guy raising a child and fights divine wars. The mental image of baby Secondary being held by this man, who now flips katsudon like a pro, short circuits Deku entirely. Shade gets up and gently slaps Equality on the head, causing her to swat Shade away. Shade. Steve's and Alex's are created in their adult form. So even though Equality and Primary look like they're mid-20s, they're actually only 6 and 5 years old, respectively. Deku's brain short-circuits it again. 6 and 5, they're literal babies, cosmic, divine, adult-shaped babies. That explains why they seem so mature for their age, because, of course, guardians would need to act order. But they're toddlers. Aizawa pinches the bridge of his nose, this family dynamic bending his mind. Primary 5 is a dad to Secondary, Equality 6 is the older sister figure, and Shade? She is basically an aunt/elder sibling, despite looking human age too. The slap between them earlier makes sense now. It wasn't aggressive, it was like a sibling bickering over something petty. Secondary is only 2 years old. Deku's soul leaves his body. Oh god, how to explain this? Technically speaking, yes, Secondary is only 2 years old, but he's also kind of like 16 in human years. Don't question how. A 2-year-old literal toddler, that means Secondary, a kid who spoke so calmly, who traveled through a portal, who sat quietly, and is basically a baby. Aizawa slowly sets down his coffee like it might explode. He stares at the empty doorway where Secondary had been yesterday, then back at Primary, age 5, and Equality, age 6. This family was made of preschools, raising other preschoolers while fighting gods and demons. The mental image of tiny Secondary wobbling around in diapers is too much. Steve's and Alex's do not wear diapers. Like Shade said, we're adults when we are created. Shade, don't do that to them, Equality says with a sigh. True, we may only be a few years old, but we have minds of adults. In fact, since I was originally part of Lily, I have some of her memories, and am the same age of her in human years, which would be 23. Shade retreats, her motherly aura dialed back slightly. She was about to tease them more, but Equality stops her with a tired sigh. The age disparity in their minds versus body is clearly confusing for everyone. Aizawa nods slowly at clarification. Equality has Lily's memories, so mentally she is 23, not 6. That explains why she acts mature despite looking young. Deku exhales, relieved. They're not actually toddler making life-altering decisions. They just seem that way because of their divine forms. So you're basically ancient souls in a child's body, he summarized awkwardly. Glares at him as Primary sets down the plates of food. Deku streaks under Equality's glares. Oops. Bad wording. Ancient souls probably sounds dismissive or weird, given their actual age, human years equivalent 23 and 5. Technically speaking, Primary would technically be 22. But whatever. Aizawa, the voice of reason, clears his throat, calmly picking up his fork. The food smells amazing, crispy katsudon on a bed of fluffy rice, and he's not about to let awkwardness ruin breakfast. Primary slides the plates towards them with a polite smile. No hard feelings from him, at least. The tension eases as they dig in, but Deku makes a mental note. Do not call divine children ancient again. Anyways, enough about our age. What we need to do is figure out a way home. Aizawa nods, swallowing a bite of katsudon. Right. They're here, but this isn't their world. They need to get back to theirs. Deku chews thoughtfully. The portal Equality used yesterday closed when Primary released it, so recreating it might be tricky without the same conditions. Can you make another one? He asked between bites. Or does Secondary have to open one from his side again? They can't stay in Japan indefinitely, especially with demonic void still threatening their home universe. Primary looks at him. I can, but they are for communication, not travel. It isn't stable enough, especially with 3 people needing to go through. Deku's shoulders slump. Communication portals are not travel portals. That means they can send messages and see through, but not physically go back. And with 3 people, Equality, Primary, and Shade needing to return, stability is a huge issue. Aizawa frowns. So if you try to take someone through anyways, he says slowly, it might collapse mid-travel or worse. The implication are grim. A misfire could leave someone stranded in the void between worlds, or worse, torn apart by unstable dimensional space. It could kill them. The room goes dead silent. Kill them. Not just fail, they could die. That changes everything. No reckless portal hopping, no risking lives on shaky connection back home. Aizawa grips tightens around his fork. The weight of that dagger settles like ice in his stomach. Even as a teacher who trains students for hero work, he never would have sent someone into something with fatal risk unless absolutely necessary. Deku looks at Equality and Primary, both so young, chronologically, both vital for their world to survive, but now trapped here by instability. Equality groans. I'm able to teleport through worlds, and so is Shade. The problem is we can only teleport ourselves, and Primary hasn't learned how to yet. Due to their creator abilities, yes, they are able to teleport through worlds, if you had questions about that. That is frustrating, Equality. That's frustrating. Equality and Shade can teleport between worlds, but only individually. No group travel. Primary, despite being powerful on his own right, the father to a toddler, hasn't mastered that skill. Aizawa exhales through his nose, so the solution is either wait for Primary to learn how to teleport safely with the others, or separate them entirely for now. Deku frowns at the second option. It meant Equality/Shade going back alone while leaving Primary behind here. That feels wrong, too. I might have another idea, but it means we'll have to coordinate with someone in our world, Shade says. Before Ghost was about to die the second time, Lily sent him to a world like this one. Then, in order to get him back, made a connection between the two equality crystals. Maybe we could try something like that instead. Deku's eyes light up. That could work. If they recreate this stable connection between Equality's crystal and the one in their world, that might act as a bridge for safe travel, not just communication. Aizawa leans forward, intrigued. Lily did that before, he asked Shade. With Ghost? The method was had preceded. It succeeded once. I said that wrong, but whatever. It succeeded once to bring back a dying being. If they could replicate it with the crystals now, it might be the safest way to get all three of them home together. There's one problem with that, Equality says. You don't have a crystal because you are a shadow, and there's only one primary crystal in existence, and Primary has it. Ah, a fatal flaw in their plan. Aizawa's help deflates. Without a matching crystal, they cannot create a connection. The primary crystal is a one-of-a-kind, held by, Primary, hence his name. And shadows like Shade don't have crystals. They are born from darkness itself. Deku chews on his lip. So even if Equality and Shade try to link crystals, there isn't a second stable counterpart on this side. Is there any else that could act as an anchor? He asked weakly. Something similar? Equality thinks for a moment, then an idea hits her. The gateway. Deku and Aizawa exchange glances. The gateway? That sounds like big, important, the kind of place that might have power to facilitate interdimensional travel. If it exists at all, in their world. Equality's expression is serious now, like she's considering something risky but potentially game-changing. Where is this gateway? Aizawa asked carefully. And what does it do exactly? A cosmetic landmark? A structure? Something that could replace crystals for bridging worlds? Equality shakes her head. During Lily's time in our world, humans from the world she created crossed over into ours, using the end gateway. It opened in our end still, but it's sealed on their side, which means with the right person we can connect it to this one instead. Deku's mind raced. The end gateway. An end gateway. A portal that once allowed humans to travel from Lily's created world into theirs. It's still open on their side, but sealed on the human side, meaning it's dormant. Aizawa understands. If they can find someone who can reopen that seal, maybe a descendant of those original travelers, they could use the gateway as a bridge instead of the crystals. Who would be able to do that? Someone with lineage connection to your world? This feels like a long shot, but it's not impossible if they can track down the right person. Shade. Brine. Aizawa doesn't recognize the name, but the way Shade says it is like a fact that everyone should know. Suggests this brine is significant. a person with direct ties to that human world. Deku leans slightly, intrigued. "Who's Brine?" he asks. Is this person a descendant? A traveler who got stuck there long ago? Someone with latent power from Lily's world? The more details they got, the closer they are to finding a way home for equality in Primary, and maybe even fixing the portal situation permanently. Equality answers. Brine, or as you know him, Herobrine, is one of and strongest of the original creators of our world. But he's also the Darkborn King of the Prophecy of Five world. He also has a connection throughout the universe. If we can contact him, he can open the gateway. Deku's eyes widen. Herobrine. The name sends chills down his spine, not because of evil, but because of the weight behind it. A Darkborn King, one of the original creators. That's beyond just a strong ally. That's practically a divine intervention. Aizawa processes this carefully. If Herobrine is connected to multiple worlds and prophecies, he could authorize he has the authority over portals, and maybe even enough power to reopen something as sealed as the end gateway. Where is he now? Aizawa asks, already calculating logistics. Can we reach him? Primary? Equality says as she turns to him. Already on it, Primary replies, his left eye glowing once more. 1 second. Okay. The glow in Primary's eye, this is it. His attempt to connect to Herobrine. A single pulse of light might be sending a single signal across dimensions. A call to the Darkborn King himself. Aizawa watches intently. This could be their best shot of reuniting Equality and Primary with their world. If Herobrine answers, the gateway could open. Deku holds his breath, the fingers tapping nervously on the table. The seconds feel like hours, so they're so close to solving this problem. A rift of purple and black opens once more. This time, standing on the other side, is a 6-foot-tall man with light tan skin and glowing white eyes, wearing a blue t-shirt and dark blue jeans. The rift shimmers with a eerie purple and black energy. Then he steps through. Herobrine. Tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in a simple but striking blue. The man exudes quiet power. His white eyes glow faintly, scanning the room like a king assessing new subjects. Aizawa stiffens as this was no ordinary hero or traveler. This is a creator, a being of cosmic importance. Deku swallows hard, suddenly very aware of how small he feels next to someone who shaped entire worlds. Herobrine's gaze lands on Primary first, then shifts to Equality, Shade, and finally to the two humans, his expression unreadable, regal, but not hostile. He says nothing at first, just studies them. The air hums with latent energy from his presence alone. Aizawa forces himself to stay still, not wanting to provoke anything by accident. Meanwhile, Deku offers a small nod of respect, the polite thing when meeting someone of Herobrine's status. The silence stretches until Herobrine finally speaks in a deep, calm voice. Who summoned me, and why? Herobrine's voice is smooth, but carries the weight of authority. The tone makes even Aizawa sit up straighter. The question is direct. Who called me? And what's the reason? And for what reason? Primary steps forward, not intimidated by Brian's presence. Your Majesty, he says respectfully, we require your aid. The end gateway must be reopened to return my family and myself home. A pause, then Primary adds, demonic void threatens our world, and we are its only defense. I know that, because I'm currently helping your mother, he replied, as in a more friendly tone. Seems he recognizes the three of them. Equality steps forward. Hey, Brian. All we need you to do is reroute the end gateway, and this might actually help us out in the end, seeing that most of the humans have power, and some are very strong as well. Here Brian's demeanor softens immediately at Equality's greeting. Clearly, they are not on friendly terms. The formal Your Majesty drops. He is just Brian to them. Aizawa blinks. The guy is helping Lily fight demonic void, and he knows about the powered humans here. That explains his familiarity with their situation. Hearing that some of the humans are strong enough to be assets in cosmic war, that gives Deku hope. If Earthlings can aid in battle, maybe this war isn't hopeless after all. Reroute the gateway, Brian repeats, already nodding like that's a simple task for him. We just need a location in this world. Brian folds his arms, considering a location somewhere in the world that can serve as a new anchor point for rerouting the end gates. Aizawa and Deku exchange glances. They have no idea where would be suitable. Somewhere stable, hidden, with enough space for dimensional travel. Yue has a large training field, Deku offers cautiously. It's secured and used to hero activities. Not ideal, but it's a controlled area with defensives. Maybe even beneficial if there's involves magical energy or portals. That might work, but we don't need random people going in and out of our world. It would cause destabilization. Brian replies, his arms crossed. And if you don't mind, can I ask your names, players? Brian's caution makes sense. Unregarded travel between worlds can cause catastrophic ripples. They can't have random humans popping into a divine world, or vice versa. Aizawa clears his throat. Eraserhead. Simple. Professional. Deku gives a small bow in respect. Deku, it is an honor to meet you, Your Majesty. He keeps it for the formal title this time, showing difference to someone who is basically royalty in their world. I do not know that word, and is also terrifyingly powerful. Please, just hear Brian. Brian waves his hand dismissively. The formalities isn't needed. Just hear Brian is fine. Aizawa nods, relaxing slightly. The man isn't stiff or distant, like he's expected. He's approachable, despite his title and power. Deku exhales, relieved not to have to overthink titles now. Right, he says with a smile. Just hear Brian. The atmosphere is lighter as the introductions settle. Now the pleasantries were out of the way. They can focus on actually setting up the gateway route and getting these cosmic kids home safely. Equality steps forward. The training field might be too public. Can you think of any other place? Brian hums, tapping a finger on his chin as he thinks. Public spaces are risky. Too many witnesses, too many chances of accidental dimensional breaches. Then it hits him. Your world has underground facilities, he says. Not a question. Like he's recalling something from research or previous visits. Military bunkers, hidden labs. Aizawa perks up at that. Yes, they do have those. Secured, isolated locations that meant for classified operations or emergencies. Perfect for a convert portal setup. Perfect. Brian nods. Perfect. Underground facilities are ideal. No prying eyes, soundproof, and are already designed to handle high-risk activity. Aizawa mentally lists UA's connections. They have access to government defense sites through hero agencies or even Nezu's backdoor deals with the military. We can arrange a secure location, he confirms. Somewhere beneath the major city, hidden from public view. Deku adds, it would also be easier to control who enters and leaves that way. Oh. Well, that's the latest caught up. Also, I just realized that last one I could have just did this.
Brian nods. Perfect. Underground facilities are ideal. No prying eyes, soundproofed, and already designed to handle high-risk activities. Aizawa mentally lists UA's connections. They have access to government defense sites through hero agencies or even Nezu's backdoor deals with the military. We can arrange a secure location, he confirms. Somewhere beneath a major city, hidden from public view. Deku adds, it'd also be easier to control who enters or leaves that way.
I'm trying to think. Should we leave you guys on a cliffhanger? I guess you'll have to come back for part 4. So, remember, leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. And don't forget to hit that bell so you can get notified every time I upload a video. Until then, farewell from the entire crew.